Hello, friends, and welcome. Today, we're going to do a talk through of a position 4 Marci game I played and really go into the details of roaming, why I'm choosing to leave the lane, when I'm not choosing to leave the lane, all that sort of stuff. This will not be concise. I am going to info dump on this, and I don't care how long it takes. We're just going to go into it. But we're not going to go through the whole game because the end becomes a stomp because I did so well in roaming, obviously. But really, there's stuff I did wrong, and we'll talk about that too. I'm going to try to make it a little more interactive than last time. For example, starting off here, let me tell you the draft order. It was Io and Ember on their team, then it was Mars and Ricky, and then Kunkka was last. And on my team, you can kind of see, but I'm the position 4, Dazzle 5, Razor mid, actually, a little surprise, Twist Up, OD safe lane, Sand King off lane. So before we even get into it further, I want you guys to go ahead, pause if you need to, but think about how you would approach this. What's your game plan? What do you think you need to accomplish in the lane? I've kind of spoiled it a bit and told you I'm going to roam a lot, but what do you think I'm looking for? What do we need to get out of every lane? How am I choosing when to roam? Start to give some thought of it yourself, because you kind of have to make these choices. I haven't even told you who the enemies are. I'll tell you what the lanes are in a moment. But that's kind of the information I have when I start the game is I know their draft, but I don't necessarily know where they're going. We have a weird draft, so is theirs weird? I don't know. I'll tell you in a second. So pause and maybe you're back now because I'm about to get into it. So Io, oops, I can't see it anymore. Io 5, Ricky carry. Ember Spirit 4, who had that right on the bingo card? It's Mars off lane and then a Kunkka mid. So I kind of suspected that it would be IO5 and Ricky carry. That's probably the safest bet you can go with. Though it's weird, right? So like maybe it could be Kunkka 4, maybe it could be Ricky 4, who knows? But that was my feeling that it would be Io and Ricky. So it is me and Sand King versus that Io Ricky. So this is where roaming is starting to come to mind already. I'm not sure who's in the mid lane because it's a weird draft, but I know it's going to be a melee hero versus Razor. And at least in the early levels, none of them have great mobility. Mars being the most, not even dangerous, but like he could spear Razor away, and that could be his way to safety. Ember at level 6 will have an escape, but until then, he's just a melee hero who has to walk up and around. So I know I have some potential to roam mid, and especially Marci with this rebound in, toss someone back. That would help even counter Mars's spear a little bit because I'm going to stun him, and then I'm going to try to get in the way of his spear if he is the one in the mid lane. At this point, still don't know who's in the mid lane, but this is what I'm thinking about. Now, for my own actual lane, how should this lane go? Ricky and Io are not the easiest targets for me to kill because Dispose is powerful. It really throws people out of position. It stuns them. But Ricky has 2 mobility spells in his, let's actually use a free cam first here so I can stop doing that. Blink Strike and Tricks of the Trade. Both of these allow him to reposition, although there's some limitations to the way Blink Strike works, so that can be my opening. He has to have allies kind of near him. But because it's an Io's kind of always going to be near the area for him to blink to. So killing Ricky will be a little tough. If I want to go for it, he has to use some of these abilities, possibly going for last hits, and then that might be my opening. Io is a little easier to go on, but Tether can also be used to reposition if I say toss him back here, and then he can, instead of trying to like run through here and we hit him a bunch, he can actually run further away, dragging us out of the lane, and then he tethers through us back to the Ricky or back to some like creeps that happen to be walking here. He has some options. So it's possible, probably a little easier than killing the Ricky with Dispose, but it's still going to have its own challenges. So I don't feel like I have the greatest aggressive potential in this lane. However, I'm not too worried about it because Sand King is pretty good against melee heroes, and for all I was just saying it's tough to kill them, Io's not really that aggressive of a support. Ricky can be kind of aggressive, but I wasn't expecting this to be a particularly dangerous lane from them. I'm pretty sure that if I provide a couple sentries for the Sand King, and he can use Sandstorm and his passive, that he should do okay. Thinking about it in the bigger picture, he doesn't even have to do like that well, because my mind is that we have to play a pretty tempo-based game because we have an OD safe lane. It's not going to scale that well. So OD should have a good time in the off lane, no matter, or safe lane against whoever's in the off lane because he's OD versus like 3 potential 2 melee heroes. Maybe it's an IO4. That'd be kind of weird. Actually, it's not that weird, but like he wouldn't be that worried about IO anyways. So Odie will have a good game and he'll have a strong tempo because of that. Razor should also have a good game because of the tempo. And so Sand King doesn't need to like carry. He just needs a blink stun. So I just need to give him a decent lane. Obviously, I want to win. Like that's the best case scenario, but it doesn't have to happen. Ricky, even with a good lane, is not going to farm that fast. So I'm not worried about Ricky suddenly like popping off scaling super hard, even if he has a good lane. But I don't want him to have a good lane because he could be annoying if he gets a lot of kills. But I think we have like the proper control for it. So I want Sand King to have a decent lane, but I think he'll be okay on his own. So I know we're like 5 minutes into this video. We haven't even begun anywhere. This is going to start picking out my items though. And I actually make a mistake here. I was a little flustered because I last second picked Marci when I saw we had a Dazzle. He like didn't show anything, last picked Dazzle, and I was like, oh, I can't pick another. I was about to be Pugna. I was like, we can't have 2 non-stuns, so I picked Marci. I actually don't need these tangos. So with my wards, I don't want this small camp to spawn. I don't think I can do that much in lane because Marci's not a great harasser. So I'm tentatively thinking maybe I drag creeps, maybe I focus on pulling. I know I want to roam mid a good amount. And the danger of that is that while I'm gone, Io does a pull while Ricky's in the lane. And that's not going to hurt Sand King too badly compared to other offlaners, but it's still very annoying for him to deal with. So I want this lane, this small camp blocked, either with my body or a sentry. Right now, I bought a sentry, and I'm thinking about it as I walk to lane. And I know I want boots, because I'm not looking... Like, Oov is your other aggressive lane item, typically, or maybe a magic stick to, like, get involved in all these small fights. But Aya doesn't really cast spells. Ricky casts some, so the stick's, like, okay. But like I said, I'm not really looking to play the lane a bunch, so Oov and stick are out. That's why I want to start with boots. That's why I was a little torn on my starting items. I should have just gone boots, sentry, observer, and skip these tangos. Because you don't need the tangos right away. You just buy them with the gold you get after that. And with my observer, I know I want vision of this camp in case it gets unblocked with the sentry. So in the end, as you're going to see, I come place it on this cliff. I think that's a mistake. I should have placed it down here because I'm thinking about creep dragging, and because I'm going to get boots pretty quickly. I can look to kill couriers and stuff. I think that's the kind of stuff I can look to contribute, because if you have boots, you're not really looking to play here, which I already said I wasn't looking to. That's why I'm getting boots, but I don't want to make myself do that with boots because that's just the wrong item for this kind of play style. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong about stuff, but these are all how I interpret this stuff. So after a bit of delaying, I come and place this ward here. The idea being is that it catches the small camp and kind of catches the edge here. So if they look to come like do a pull or something, I can kind of see it. But Io's not really a roaming hero, so this cliff is actually not that great. That's why it should have gone down here instead of over here. So after placing it, we walk away. And then notice Io and Mars walk in right away. So what this tells me is that as this happens, he did not wait a second. The second I started moving away, they moved in together. They weren't scared. They didn't act like they were scared. And they knew exactly, there was no delay. It wasn't like, should I check here? No, he just like instantly went for it. So what I'm thinking is that there's actually an observer ward that they placed first here. This is another reason why this cliff was not a great choice, because Io's actually faster than me, especially because I didn't get boots. If I'd gotten boots instead of the tangos, maybe I do get here first, or maybe I get here the same time, because if we go back, I walked up first to check if they're here. So if I had boots and I get here just ever so slightly faster, instead of being here with the boots, I probably am around here. I catch the Io, and then I make it. So here you see Io, they know what to do. So they're like, oh, just get out of sight, let them place the ward, and then we'll go de-ward it. So a bit unlucky for me, kind of bad choice of me to put it here, but even then, it's not guaranteed that Io placed that observer. But in hindsight, I should have thought about it, because I am roaming. Io's getting the same read that I am. He realizes, like, Marci's going to roam in the mid lane. We want to see when Marci's doing this kind of stuff, so he's using this cliff ward. Now, I have a sentry. I'm not going to walk up there right away because I saw Mars and Io, but Mars's items, I clicked on them. You can't see it. I felt this was a weird... It's not going to be Mars carry, you know? So it was probably a Mars, maybe a mid, but maybe it's offlane Mars. Either way, It's not going to be Mars carry, in my opinion. And so there's an extra core down here. It's probably Ricky carry. I'm still betting on that. So there's multiple heroes down here. I don't want to walk in here right now and place a sentry. Now, I'm not actually going to ever place that sentry because I figured at this level, he saw me. I saw him. He should know that I know he has an observer there. So I figured he would deward mine. And in this time, they're probably killing their own observer right now. I was wrong. They left it up. So maybe I out-mind gamed myself, or maybe he out-mind gamed my mind game. But either way, I never got a free observer here. But I think my logic makes sense. And you never know these things for sure. You just have to take an educated guess. So I was wrong on it this time. Just how it goes sometimes. Now, another reason I didn't put a sentry up here is because I have a Sand King, and because I was talking about blocking this camp, I want to at least make use of the fact that I lost this observer. You know, that sucks, but there's a limited sentry supply at the start of the game. Where are we? Oh man, we're 11 minutes in, the game hasn't even started. Whatever, hope you guys find this helpful. So, he has a limited sentry supply. He needs them to potentially unblock this camp, potentially block this camp, and then potentially have them in lane for Sand King. So he's going to be restricted. So instead of also wasting a sentry up here, I want to try to abuse his potential lack of sentries, and I'm going to either block this camp or use it in the lane when he uses it. So I was looking at the rune, decided it can't happen. Ember walks too close, and I dispose him dispose him into the tower. Notice that I only hit him once there originally. So I hit him here because he's stunned, and now between me or the tower is going to do far more damage than I ever could. So I'm just trying to body block him, and you'll notice he takes a lot of extra hits because of that. So this is far more damage than I could have done with auto attacks, and if he had managed to walk straight out of the tower. So I don't kill him, but this is fine. This is actually, we're going to step back from the roaming talks and actually show that Dota is a very connected game. So Ember wastes some extra time here, and then ultimately runs home. Let's go to his perspective. So around now, if he had gotten this rune and just walked top, he would be up here right now. Because he's not up here, Dazzle's actually free to solo harass the Mars, and Mars is forced to spear, loses half his health before the first lane, Ember can come back. And in the first wave, OD is going to have like perfect CS, perfect control of up this. And we already said there's going to be a tough lane for them. It's 2 melee heroes versus an OD and a Dazzle. So this is not a great lane. They need as strong of a start as they can get, and this is very bad for them. So not that I can guarantee you guys that, yeah, you'll always be able to dispose someone here, you should do it. But if you ever find yourself being able to take a good trade, it can have these kind of extra benefits. But say from their side, Ember Spirit, I don't know what he was doing, being coy, chasing me. You should never take these kind of risks if it might really hurt you. You know, if he had a salve and he could just walk up here and salve, maybe it's okay. But of course he had to use a salve like for nothing, and that sucks. You don't want to take excessive risks during the bounty runes because it can hurt your laning stage and it can make a difficult lane even harder, which will borderline impossible. Spoiler alert, this top lane is going to be a disaster for them. I'm going to tell you guys that because we're not going to be looking at them at all. We're going to be focusing on me. So let's get back to me now. So I got my boots with the gold, and I decided to block their camp. Talked about it earlier. I want to make him use his sentries up here and then not get to deal with this camp. Or he uses this, his limited sentries for this camp, and then not for the lane. And so Sand King has a freer time. Either one of those benefit me. If this camp is blocked, when I roam, Io can't use this pull camp. And he can use this one while I'm gone, but at least this is easier for Sand King to absorb XP or maybe even contest. If he unblocks this camp and has the pull, then at least he probably doesn't have enough sentries to also use here, and so Sand King will be safe in the lane with Sandstorm. So either way it goes, good for me. So here we are in the laning stage. So there is the Sandstorm. You can kind of see they don't do much. Right now, I said I didn't expect to play too aggressively, and I'm also not going to roam in the first, very first creep wave. So I go ahead and use Dispose here just to get some extra damage in with Sandstorm going on, throw him near the creeps. It's going to force him to Blink Strike away, but you see we get some good harassing. So I'm not looking for a kill, really. That's just to, like, use some mana and to be annoying. I'm just going to go for, like, denies and last hits, kind of, like, poke in and out here a bit. Io's being very annoying, but, you know, it's a little bit expected. It's a double melee lane, and he's the only ranged hero here, so he gets to do some stuff for free. And here, I'm kind of a bold choice. I go for this courier because I was hoping I could kill it before it gets to Io. Talking about that limited supply of sentries, I didn't even have a chance to click on it to find. I had the chance, I just didn't do it. But I just had a feeling, you know, there's probably sentries on here because I think it's what he needs. So if I kill this, he has nothing. He can't unblock this camp. He can't ever deal with Sand King. I know he doesn't have a sentry because he used it to get my observer. So I thought it'd be worth it to kill this and delay it for like over a minute. I didn't know it also had a salve, but that's, you know, it's useful. Didn't kill in one shot, so I ended up getting his stuff. I took a pretty bad trade for it, so I had to just toss Ricky away and run out. In hindsight, I don't know if it was worth the risk, but in further hindsight, this is why an observer out here would have been really good, because we could see this coming in right around here. I would spot the courier. I'm here, so I can quickly try to like run through, intercept the courier over here. Or really, I should just be thinking about it. I should know because Io got the observer and then bounties. I know he's buying something. He's not sitting on like 300 gold and not doing anything with it. So I know a courier should be coming. I should have already been positioned around here. And then when I see it with the observer, I pop out and I kill it. If he knows to be careful, it's fine. He's just keeping his courier way back there. Again, doesn't have sentries, so Sand King will be fine without me while I keep the courier away. So a bit of a misplay on my part. Could have been more useful than what I was doing right here. Oh, sorry. We already saw this. So after that, right here. Let's pause, actually. I said I wanted this to be a little more interactive, and it hasn't been so far, but let's do one here. So what do you guys see in this lane? Because I see something very clear to me that is going to affect my next couple choices. So pause here if you need to, but I will go ahead and start explaining. So if you take a look, 2 range creeps, full health, haven't taken any damage. 4 melee creeps, mostly healthy. I have 3 melee creeps, which have taken damage, and then 2 range creeps, but this range creep is starting to die. This lane is shoving, and there's not much they can do to control this. So, right now, I don't have to do it like right now, but I should be thinking, okay, this is going to push up here. This is good for me, because I want to roam. I want to do things. Sand King needs to be in a safe spot up here. Ideally, well, he needs to be safe, and up here is a safe spot. So, I need to make sure they can't pull this camp. I did that. I blocked it with a sentry, so I don't need to worry about that. If I hadn't done this, then I probably need to be thinking about body blocking this coming up on the 2-minute mark, because this will push up, and as long as Sand King doesn't level his passive, he can control it a little bit. He might have to use Sandstorm, which will then remove some of his control, but it won't push as hard because it's a level 1 Sandstorm. If he's forced to take Caustic, or chooses to take Caustic and use a Sandstorm, then it's going to shove pretty hard. But whether you have with a Sand King or not, any offlaner, you should identify. This lane is pushing. I need to stop this pull. I need to think about this hard camp. Like, I don't need to do my own pull. And in fact, that might hurt me because all these creeps, which were going to be here, are still going to be up here. But my offlaner is going to be forced to be up here and deal with that. And they're just going to come push me away and farm the next creep wave and the hard camp here. So it would actually be a bad pull to do at this time. That opens me up for the 2-minute rune to consider roaming there. And I do want to roam there because I think we could possibly get some early kills with Razor Link. And this part is a little bit of an oversight on me. I'm used to Kunkka's rushing bottle, but against Razor, he actually has to get boots. And I didn't fully think about that. I checked his items and I was kind of processing it, but I was like, I still came anyways. And I told Razor to go top at this point, but didn't quite do it because he wanted these creeps. And I should have just grabbed this and left. In hindsight, I should have done that. I could have also left it for Razor. Kunkka would have grabbed one as well, but it's not a huge deal because Kunkka doesn't have a bottle and he's mostly full health, full mana anyhow. For Razor, he wants at least 1 water rune, and he'll get it. If I leave both, when Kunkka goes bottom, Razor will go top. If Razor or sorry, if Kunkka goes top, Razor will go bottom. So I could leave both. If I take this one, Razor maybe gets top, maybe doesn't. I wanted this because I have no mana items, and I've used half my mana, more than that a little bit, but I've regen some. I end up stalling out here a while, a little unsure of like, Razor wouldn't say anything, like, are you going top? I don't know. So I got stuck here with indecision. If I had just grabbed it and run bottom, then this would have been prevented, which is that Sand King, you know, struggling here a bit. I think he's using Sandstorm right now. You just can't see it. Io, pretty smart, put a sentry over here. I didn't expect him to do that. So he did this pull. Sand King tried to contest to not let all the creeps get stolen from him. And he's taking extra harass because they have that sentry here that I didn't expect. And so they end up getting him with first blood. I fortunately hit level 2 as I come here. I get a return kill. Feels good for me, but, you know, sucks for Sand King. And if I had just grabbed that rune and come back down, I think I could have protected Sand King and kept the, kept him alive, and they wouldn't have gotten first blood. So I think a bit of a mistake on my part. Because I get the return kill, it's not the worst thing in the world for me. So I need to take more responsibility on that then. I have to have like a bit stronger of a game and make use of that extra gold XP I got. And so part of that is not continuing to stand here with Sand King. So this is still good. We talked about the creeps. Sorry, I should actually pause here, you know, make a decision if you need to, but it's a little bit of a spoiler. This is still in a very good spot. Even with his passive and Sandstorm, he'll be good here for at least a little bit, especially because Ricky is respawning and teleporting in somewhere here. So I still want to contribute. I can't do anything much in lane because I don't have any mana. I am not needed here to protect him because he's full health by our tower. I still want to contribute. So I'm going to come take their bounty rune because this is gold. This is potentially Kunkka's bottle refill if he eventually gets a bottle and comes here. So I don't want to leave this here for them. I want to grab it right away. And I'm still adding value to my team. I also have a courier on the way with some mana. I'll show you guys what I bought. 1 clarity, 1 stick. I was a little undecided on here. I wish I'd gotten a mango as well. Or maybe even replace the clarity with the mango so I can have more immediate impact than having to wait for this clarity. But I go ahead and pop this clarity pretty much right away so that I'll have enough for both my spells pretty quickly, especially if I get like 1 charge coming up here. So I think I was telling Sand King like, hey, I don't have full mana yet. Wait a few more seconds. But you can kind of see I may not get the full clarity value, but I got enough for both my spells. And that's the main thing I need. I'm only going to get like 1 rotation off in a fight, so this is fine. I didn't realize they had a sentry. That's kind of what led to Sand King's death. Otherwise, I should have done it for him. I have the sentry for it. That's kind of what the goal there was. Now, over here, I should have placed a sentry to secure Sand King's lane here. Still thinking about the fact that I want to roam, I want to protect him. I should have gone ahead and just placed the sentry. Maybe not right now, but that's the issue. I kept waiting for like, oh, I should wait for them like the perfect spot. But then they kind of pushed off Sand King. I'm using like Dispose to save him a bit of health. But now it's like, I'm not going to put the sentry now. And it ends up just a little awkward. Coming up here, I am stacking this hard camp because I think we can use it better than they can. And now I am going to go get the 4-minute water ring. I figured, even though he died with Sandstorm and Caustic Finale, he'd be okay here. And that would be true if they didn't have a sentry. So this is my fault. I shouldn't have left until I placed the sentry and guaranteed he'd be safe in a certain spot. If I'd placed it somewhere in these trees, which is where I would have placed it, I would have spot the sentry he has in lane, would have killed it. Then they have no more detection down here. Sand King gets to sit here, invis. Even though it's far up, he would be fine. So this is my mistake. I think this roaming choice is fine, and stacking the camp is fine, but I just made a mistake of not putting that sentry down first. And so you see they're harassing Sand King and going for a kill here. Back in what I'm doing, I see them going on Kunkka, and so now I'm going to go for a kill. He's used his stuff, so I'm here to try to kill the mid. Part of the reason I'm emphasizing coming to mid is because I want us to have a good tempo. Razor, I think, should actually be doing better against a Kunkka than he is. That's not really the point of this video, but I wanted to remove their playmaker because Ricky's not a good playmaker. Io's a terrible playmaker. He just like enables teammates. So even though this bottom lane is going a little iffy because I made some mistakes, and Sand King is, suffering a little bit. He's still getting okay levels, and even though these guys are having slightly better games than, I should have let them, they're not going to do much. Ricky's going to keep farming, and Io is still going to be dependent on whoever he can play with. So if Kunkka who he's going to play with, and I keep getting Kunkka killed so that Kunkka is like 2 levels below Razor or something, he doesn't have as many playmaking options because Kunkka's having a worse game. So that was my logic for these rotations. Get that Kunkka kill. Let, what's his name, get the rune. I even salve him. And then I just come for like last hits and denies. This is what I get to do this because I helped him get a kill. I'm not going to take last hits if he can get them, but I just help him secure both runes after that and get myself a little bit of XP. And then I'm going to come back bottom because I'm feeling guilty at this point that I let Sand King die twice. So I'm like, okay, I should come help this guy. He is getting more levels, which means he is getting safer and safer because the more levels he now has a stun/escape. He has better wave clear. So even if they see him, they shove the lane real hard. Ricky has terrible wave clear. So Sand King's not getting like absolutely shut out, but those 2 deaths are a bit unfortunate. So I wanted to come down and try to make up for the fact. So I see Sand King shoving, and I decided to go pull. I got scared a little for a second there because I saw Io come in, but they were just, healing up. And so I am going to complete this pull. And I'm walking up here because at this point, I didn't know that they had a sentry here. Sand King again doing it himself. My bad, Sand King. Should have been me. Good on Sand King for doing it, though, and I didn't. If they don't have vision of Sand King, they're just going to walk past him. So I was going to come here and tank the creeps in front of his Sandstorm. But now that Ricky was committing those spells, I was like, it's fine. Okay, we'll just back off. Now they come to contest. This is the issue because Sandstorm ended and he backed off. He has to deal with these creeps, which means there's 2 of them. I have to be a little careful. But Sand King is going to pull it in so we can contest a little bit. And I'm just going to like poke a little bit. He's running in a bit farther than he needs to. And I was thinking about committing there, but it's a little awkward. But now he's used 2 mobility spells, so I'm keeping my eye out for an opportunity. And as I see these last hits getting low, I'm going to rebound in and toss him back into the Sandstorm. I didn't know we would kill him, but I just knew that would be a good trade for us because he used some of his mobility spells and escapes. And I didn't want him to get these last hits for free. So that was the whole logic. It wasn't even like, I know we can kill him. It was just, I know this is a good trade, and I want to try to steal some last hits. And there's a chance I kill him, which will be great. But he could have possibly reacted really quickly as I rebound in and leapt away. But what can you do? I want you to notice here, guys. After I get this kill, let's watch it again. Woo! Take a look at the clock. Figure out what you need to do. I push Io away from this pull. He gets it. And then I'm going to immediately come grab this bounty rune again. Because I want to always be contributing to my team. I want to get gold. Is there anything for me to do in this lane? I have no mana. Yes, I could use a magic stick to get enough for my spells, but I don't even have them up yet. So I got to wait for like 5 seconds. And then we have to attempt an Io kill, which maybe it can happen. But again, he can just tether away 2 creeps, even if I dispose him. And by the time we like do that, Ricky will be really close to being up. Sand King used Sandstorm, so we also won't have that DPS. So I didn't feel we could push further in terms of getting a kill. And in terms of getting last hits, are 2 heroes needed to get last hits against an Io? Not really. So I am not needed here. I'm going to leave Sand King alone while he's safe to do so. And I kind of owe it to him because he needs to catch up in XP because I got him killed twice. So I'm leaving the lane, but I still want to contribute. I'm getting the bounty rune. I'm going to come mid. I said it was going to be more interactive, but I don't know, guys. I'm kind of like already in the action, so it's kind of obvious what I'm doing. I'm coming mid because there's still nothing for me to do bottom. Ricky is still dead. And I still don't feel like this is pretty good for us. And I feel Sand King is getting what he needs. After that recovery kill, crushing bottom is not my goal. I want mid to be going in our favor. I want to cripple one of their tempo makers, and I want to enable one of our tempo players, which is the Razor. So that's why I'm coming here. Sand King is part of our tempo, but like he just needs the blink. He can be having a bad game and just blink stun. That's all he needs, and that's why I don't feel like I need to emphasize him as heavily. Plus, with what he has, I feel like he will be okay on his own. I don't think he's like getting shut down over there. Now I roam over here, and then I want to show you guys this. So I'm waiting behind the tree. I don't know if they have an observer or not, but you see I'm positioning as if they do. I'm waiting to see like which way he goes. I also came over here in case of the runes, but kind of already missed it. And then, but sometimes like people are slow to it, so I came over. And then I waited for him. I was thinking about it. He's over here, so it's safe to do this. If he was standing down here, I would not place this sentry. The reason I placed this sentry is because if I want to attempt this gank, it's going to be silly if I attempt it and they see me walking in. They're going to have time to react. So I need to make sure they don't see me before I decide to commit in or anything. So I'm going to put the sentry, and it's very common, 6 minutes. This is when the first observers are dead, and they're placing fresh observers. So if you kill this observer, which is pretty new, then that is a nice chunk of vision that he's losing. He should have had vision here for like 6 minutes, and now I'm removing it within the first minute. So he's like 5 minutes blind, or he needs to commit another observer here, which means he also needs to commit another sentry here because he needs to remove my sentry before he places one. So again, kind of like straining their sentry supply because we have invis heroes on both. So whoever comes out ahead on this is going to feel good. And then I don't start killing this until I know he's like over there. So I walk over here and he's like staying over there. If he were walking over, I would not go for this D ward, even though I know it's here. I'm just going to pretend that I don't see it, because if he gets the D ward or the deny, I'm going to feel sad. So because I saw Ember there, because I revealed myself with an observer, I decided not to stick around, and I went bottom to try to get another kill with Sand King, because now I have all my spells, Sand King has his. So I came over here. Once I scouted this, I figured I would die, so I was telling Sand King not to come to me. It's not worth it. Just let me die, but I'll try to waste their time. I decided to toss Ember away because Ember has the Flame Guard, which will just burn me anytime he's near me. He's also got the Aura of Venom, so he's the one slowing me down. Ricky has jumps, but he's already used one. I didn't know if he had already used any in the lane, but I knew he used one on me, which means he has at most one more jump. But there's a chance he used the other one in the lane, which means he has no jumps. So if I toss the Ember Spirit away, who has the slow and the burn damage just by walking next to me, I have a chance that these two will auto-attack me a couple more times, but they stand still while they auto-attack, so I have a chance at getting away. So that's why I did this, and then I was hoping to rebound to the Sand King. And I did! Look at that, I'm alive! Woohoo! I can't believe my courier's alive, too. That was the more amazing thing. Here I was a little torn. Couldn't decide if I wanted to go back or not, because I had full mana, but, you know, a little low on health. I see this empty lane, though, so I decided to come here, and that Razor could bottle me when he TPs back in. I'm asking him to bottle me now. There you go. And so in this way, I have not gone home. I got some extra XP from the mid lane, and I got one heal. I'm also here to help secure for the 8-minute rune, which means I might get another bottle charge. So I think I just put myself in a good spot instead of running home here, and I made that decision by looking at the time and by looking at the map to decide my options. So it's kind of positioned over here, and then I realized, like, the sentry's gone, so they may have put a sentry, may have warded. I see Razor playing pretty aggressive, and all this happens, so I want to stay over here, possibly help out. Kunkka's low, so I'm thinking about it, but as I see Io coming in, you know, it's getting a little scary. Now here, I thought we could get a Kunkka kill, because I'm pretty high level, because we had successful roams. Razor just needs to throw in a plasma field between rebound and dispose that will kill Kunkka. So I go for a rebound here, but I just miss it. I was trying to be... I didn't want to die. So I was being a little greedy for myself. I should have just committed the rebound further, because I had the option. I chose to go a little short to be as close to the tower edge as possible so I could dispose and get out without taking too many shots. But I think it would have been worth me dying to kill the Kunkka, to rebound further, dispose him back, and then again, you just need the Razor Q. That would kill Kunkka. Mars would probably kill me, but Razor's getting the Kunkka kill, like, that's worth it. I hopefully get the XP from killing Kunkka as well before I die. I think that would have been good. But I end up missing it. Yeah, it doesn't always work out, all the ganks, you know? What can you do? I'm coming over to buy my arcanes because I finally have enough money. Oh, actually, let me talk about my items earlier. Buying a stick because I'm ganking a lot. I am forcing fights, which means they're going to react with spells. So I get a lot of value from a magic stick. Helps with dives, things like that too, to have a little burst heal. Raindrop, same deal. Because I'm getting involved in these early fight, these extra damage blocks help a lot. And it gives me a bit of mana. They're cheaper than saving up for a full arcanes and not having any value. I've already gotten some good value out of them already. Before this, I was thinking about going... actually, pause. Guys, what do you think are some good items this game? I will now tell you my choices. So, arcanes into Aether, Blink. That's a pretty classic Marci 4 build. This game, I think Force Staff is also kind of useful against the Riki, but it's not so useful against the Mars and the Kunkka because you get X'd or you get trapped in Arena. Yules, I think, is great this game. One, you can deal with the Kunkka X. He likes to X, play very aggressively, and then just teleport back. But you can Yules him, and then he's in a really bad spot. Same concept with the IO Relocate. Uses it to save a teammate, and then usually he dies after the relocate, but you X yourself in base, or you X the IO in base, and then IO gets to come back and also live. So I can counter that. Ember has this Flame Guard, can dispel that, can dispel the Searing Chains from myself, can buy myself some time in Smokescreen, and can maybe dodge the Spear, or just like Yules people, run up and then dispose after. Helps to solve my mana issues and gives me mana regen to use Rebound to farm if I want to. Which, by the way, skill build-wise, I'm choosing to max Dispose because there are some slippery heroes here that I want to stun as long as possible. We have a Sand King, but then the others are not really good at crowd control. Astral Imprisonment is very weird for lockdown, so I want the most lockdown so these guys can just hit and get kills. Rebound you can max usually to farm a little faster and then get your levels and dispose, but I didn't feel I needed to farm. I needed to contribute to these ganks and fights. So that's what I'm doing. So I was thinking about going Tranquil's Yules instead because that will solve my health and mana issues. Arcanes solves mana, but I don't have a health solution. And Sidekick's like not amazing for it. Accidentally blocked my camp. Came over here. Riki jumped me. Just gonna like toss him away. I was trying to, but I kind of missed. Dazzle saved me, so I'm just gonna run away. But I'm not gonna like totally run away because I want to try to help Dazzle, but maybe get this Riki kill as well because he's going pretty in and Sand King's behind. So I'm staying close by. I know he's used several spells already, so I'm gonna throw him into the tower. And now, whether he kills me, Sand King will meet him here and kill him. Or he'll kill Dazzle, and Sand King will meet him here and kill him. Except, there's a Kunkka here. I didn't expect this part, so this was my plan. Kunkka being here kind of kills it, so now Riki probably can get away, but that was my idea, and now you see I'm hiding behind trees, because I said it would be okay no matter who he killed, but I didn't want to be the guy dying, so I was like, I'll get behind trees, and hopefully Dazzle figures out his own problems. Didn't, dies, and you can kind of see here, right? If we remove Kunkka, Sand King would now, Burrow Strike, hopefully. It's actually kind of short because it's level 1, but this would be the Burrow Strike, and then Sandstorm. Actually, I didn't realize he didn't have Epi at this time, so I guess the kill maybe wouldn't have happened. But you can see the logic I was going for. But Kunkka being here kind of kills all that. I'm still staying here because Rebound and Dispose are very strong near towers. You pop in out of nowhere, throw someone deep onto the tower. It's plenty of time for someone to rotate in, especially with the follow-up Sand King stun. I mean, he used it, but like if he had it, stunning someone like a follow-up under here is good. Or if Sand King stuns someone under tower, I can rebound in, dispose them. Again, chain stunning under the tower, very powerful still at 9 minutes into the game. So even though I'm low on health, I have the raindrops, I have the magic stick, and I'm willing to die if it gets me a Kunkka or a Riki kill. That's kind of some of the logic on these two cheaper items as well. Also have the smoke to, roam around with it later. Buying a Dust because they do have an Invis Riki. Don't want to give up any free kills. Gonna buy that. And I want to buy my wand to get some extra stats, get that going. I TP'd mid to try to save him, possibly refill his bottle. Clearly did not make it in time, but that's why I came here. Gonna go ahead and finish the wand with this gold now. It's going to give me a couple extra stats. I think I was saying this, but just to finish that idea. A couple extra stats, more charges for these early ganks I'm trying to be in. I wanted to cancel that TP, but rebound doesn't work on enemies anymore, so couldn't do it. I see that fight going on, but I don't have a teleport. There's not much I can do, so I'm just going to try to hit 6 here in the mid lane. I've been roaming around a lot, and I wanted the tome, but Dazzle was even lower than I was. So don't just mindlessly take the tome, no matter what role you play, 4 or 5, or especially the cores. Really check your team, who needs it the most. I am close to 6. I am now getting a free mid lane. I don't need it, and I made that judgment call. You know, I knew I was like already 5. I know I can get 6, but Dazzle was, you know, he's level 4. He needs it even more than I do. Not that his ult is actually that great, I feel like at this stage, but it's not bad either. And I think I'll get mine on my own. So if, I'm trying to think of who it would be an example, but if the other support's ult is not that important, then it can be still okay to take it as the 4 sometimes if your 6 is more impactful, but that's a very game-dependent choice. So after shoving out mid, I decide, you know, I still want to do things with the Sand King. He has his blink. It's unfortunately in his backpack, but between a blink stun and then maybe the epicenter or even just the sandstorm into me following him with the rebound dispose and my own ultimate, Sand King and I alone can get easy kills, and it's the easiest thing to work with. OD's awkward. He's still the carry, so I still want him to farm. And there's no like easy combo. I have to leap in and stun someone, which maybe won't happen here. Same thing with Razor. He kind of just has to walk in. He has no way to help me. I have to like rebound in, but these guys might just get away. So Sand King's the easiest one to play with right now, and he is the space maker in this game. So that's why I came bottom. Plus, here you go, Razor bot bots. So he can just join anywhere there are creeps. So I don't need to play near Razor. Razor can come to me when I play with Sand King. So come here. Arena's weird. Sometimes you can leap over it, sometimes you can't. I think it depends on like the angles and how you're going about it. Sometimes I make it in, sometimes I don't. I don't understand it. I mess up here a bit, so I dust. I'm not sure if I have enough time, but I think it would be sick if I walked over here, double stun with Io, throw him into both these heroes, and then I pop the ult for the like pulse damage, and then Razor, I think he used plasma field farming earlier, but I didn't know that. You know, maybe he AoEs here and we get like this sick triple kill. But I kind of, if I was only going to get one guy, Ricky's the most important to me. Mars already used all his abilities. Io is tethered to the Mars, so I'm not worried about Io saving Ricky. So I decided to just go for the Ricky, and actually kind of looks like there's very little stun time. So I think there's a chance we wouldn't have killed the Ricky if I had gone for the Io. So I wish I had been able to get the Io and like the sick triple, but in the end, you know, this is good enough. Oh, and actually I forgot we do get everyone. So I'm telling Razor, my spells will be up in a second. Keep walking, and I chase the Io. Maybe I didn't need to commit that that stun on him. Now I know this video is long, but actually we are probably closing in on the end because I broke their spirits, I guess. The team as a whole broke their spirits. I'm taking too much credit, you know. I'll show you guys, like, the top lane was crushing it, you know, and Mars and Ember, they're having a terrible game. So they're going to give up pretty soon, but I bought an Aether Lens so I could toss people from further out of the smoke screen. That was my logic. I don't know if it was the correct choice, but that's what I did this game. There's Io losing his spirits. Again, playing near Sand King. And here's where communication can help get you an extra kill. So actually, I kind of sped through here, but by the way, instead of running straight for the Ricky, I know I can't get him because I don't have any detection. I bought detection. It's on the way. It's just not here yet. So I'm going to spend the time stacking first. Attempting this gank on Ricky is just very tough without either of us having detection. Now that I have it, we can attempt it. But I should have communicated more to him and told him to just go right here. He's like barely in sentry range. Just blink stun instantly and I will rebound dispose follow up. Because he kind of like, he wants the epi initiate, so he kind of like sticks around, but then like Ricky's out. So we kind of missed this kill here. But because he backed away here and because I see these creeps going up, I know Ricky's going to be here. So I just smoke us, which, you know, maybe they see in this area. But I figured I wanted to get here as fast as possible too. because all this was happening. So even if they know we smoked, whatever, we're getting the speed. And so I say, like, forget Ricky, let's go mid. So I'm coming over here. Quickly checking here for wards, because if a fight does break out in this area, I don't want them to have like perfect vision of us. Plus, this might help us spot Ricky coming through here to join the fight, and maybe we pick him off on his own. Come over here. They go on the Razor, but our Blink Sand King gets the initiation here. I don't make it over the arena. I don't really understand why not. But I was going to go in to stun him, although clearly not necessary. Then I want to kill the Kunkka. Don't care if I die, so I go and throw the Dispos. I dust. I don't know if I'm going to die or not, but in case I do die, I want Ricky dusted so my team can potentially kill him. And then I'm willing to die for Kunkka, but I kind of messed up. I should have jumped over the Razor instead of the Dazzle. But whatever, we get the kill. So you can kind of see them calling to end. So the game pretty much is over, by the way. But I'll talk a little further here, because there's actually another thing I want to talk about here. We get this kill, 2 heroes pushing here. They're giving up, but the correct play from their side, if they weren't done, is to dodge us. We're clearly doing well. I don't know we're 10k ahead, but you can feel that we have very strong tempo. So, play the side lanes instead of the 4 heroes in mid, right? Obviously. OD, very good game so far. So it's pretty scary to come against him. Even though he's alone in the side lane, for these heroes who are all having a bad game, it's very scary. Ricky and Kunkka are having the best games, and those are the main heroes we're going to be thinking about. Kunkka's dead. Ricky, a little scared of, you know? But against an OD who's doing this well, like, we don't have to be scared of that. So these two, shoving the side lanes, this is also, like, a totally legitimate thing. They need to try to chip this tower, open up the map for themselves. So Sand King TPing here to defend it is great. And if we kill them, even better. So I should actually be TPing in as well, and I think that would be a fair choice, because I don't think we're actually going to take this tower. Even though we're doing really well, towers are just strong, and we don't have the right heroes that are great at taking towers. So actually just shutting them down harder is kind of what we can do right now while we get like another easy tier 1, get a couple other items to make it easier to take towers. I should have TP'd here as well, and then this is probably a double kill. But I come in a little late, and we still kill Io, but Ember does get away. And they're just gonna have to like look for pickoffs, but they kind of, you know, lost their spirit at this point. So I'm just like farming up. I think we might end. Let me actually look a little further. Okay, we'll talk about this last thing here, because it was kind of cool, if I do say so myself. I see Kunkka on this observer. I don't know if they have any detection, or sorry, not detection, vision. But if they don't, it's nighttime, and Kunkka only sees what Kunkka sees. So you see me, I'm very deliberately walking behind this tree, but not into, you know, the vision of this thing. Because I know he's coming for this rune, it's 15 minutes. And so I'm going to surprise him and pop out and stun him. But I misclick a little bit and wait too long, and so we end up overlapping stuns. It's very awkward. Maybe it wouldn't have worked out in the end, because I don't know if Ricky was on us the whole time or not. Or if he was just close by. So maybe this wouldn't have panned out. It almost worked, though. If I'd gotten my ult off and everything, you know, Kunkka might die. Because I don't execute properly, they end up staying, trying to, like, pursue the Kunkka. Yeah, they have some of their own misplays, but, like, I have mine. We end up killing the Kunkka, but then Ricky gets a Sand King kill, which is very nice for him. You see he gets a huge chunk of gold. So if they hadn't had their spirits broken, these are the kind of fights they want. I mean, Kunkka dying obviously sucks, but Ricky getting an extra kill, that's gonna keep bumping him up to the items he needs to maybe solo carry the game. So I don't know what my lesson is on that. I guess another example of how Dota can be interconnected, because I mess up my skills here, it baits my team to go further and all that. And this is where, like, improving your own individual performances can help prevent these kind of like chain events. I'm going to end there, because after that, we kind of just like do whatever. We just kill whoever and end the game in 26 minutes. So 26, you see 42 to 8. It was, you didn't miss too much, just us killing people. So not too much value for you there. Item-wise, if it had been a closer game, I think I would have continued to do something like this, Aether into the Yules, for the reasons we talked about. I tried out Shard, because, you know, it was a free game, I could. It's kind of cool. I don't know if I need it this game, but the idea would be to like save people from Cloud, and I thought, like that might be fine. But if not that, then I think BKB would be good. So I don't have to be worried about Ricky Cloud, Arena, or any of the Conka combos. And I can just be like deep in the fight, dragging attention to myself while my team, the Razor and the OD, are just chasing and doing a bunch of damage. So that is it for this video. So I really did mean to make it more interactive and let you guys try to guess what to do next. I think we only did it a couple times. I'll try to remember it more for future videos, but hopefully you did still find it helpful going really in detail about everything I'm doing. I know I make mistakes as well, but hopefully we can at least learn from that together, you know? So let me know if you have any feedback on these kind of videos. I will try to improve them. Lately I've been kind of time restricted, so I don't know if I can implement all the feedback, but I will try. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.